Hello everyone, it's Diva Carla. The Cosmic Crone is here. And I am here with the Divine Feminine Astrology reading. Saturday, around 6:45 p.m. About an hour or so, half an hour before sunset in my time zone, Eastern Time. That is when the sun and the moon will meet in the same part of the sky, and it will be a new moon in Taurus. And that is really just a few hours before the exact cross quarter, astrological halfway mark of Taurus, which is the halfway mark between the solstice, the equinox and the solstice. So we celebrate Beltane on May Day this past Wednesday, but we are in the sacred Beltane time. So if you could not get out on Wednesday for a fire or a ceremony, do so this weekend. I will be on silent retreat, kind of the opposite of a Beltane celebration, which we think of as frolic and sexy and play. What I did do, that was only last night, wasn't it? Wow, yesterday was May Day, May 1st. I drank cider and watched a permaculture movie at a new cider bar in Belfast, Maine. So Perennial, I think it's called. And it was wonderful, great fun, very inspiring. And this Saturday, I will be celebrating the new moon in solitude, which is what I really love to do. I am not terribly social around the new moon. And I'm honoring that more and more all the time. And in fact, I'm looking at this chart, and there's something about it that just feels a little chaotic, a little bit like the obvious aspects make me feel like I just want to crumple it up and throw it away and say, I'll see y'all for the full moon. And it's not that there's anything bad, it's just that there's nothing that I'm seeing in the moment that excites me. If you've been following me, you know I can get really excited when certain planets are in aspect. I think in some ways the most exciting thing for me personally is seeing that Black Moon Lilith, as of Saturday, will have crossed over into Pisces. And it makes me curious about what she'll be like. That Black Moon Lilith, I think, would really love Pisces. She's a natural, because Pisces, that's my sign, by the way, which is why I tune it in so much, but it's oceanic and galactic, and that's very much the energy that Black Moon Lilith carries. She is the vast, expansive void and the deep. And she also is a manifester. She's when you take all that feminine energy and bring it into form, into earth, into birth. And so she's very connected to the womb magic and womb medicine that I teach. She happens to be in a square to Magdalena, the feminine Christ consciousness. So maybe that feels a little bit like a struggle or a Black Moon Lilith square Magdalena. There's some work to be done. They're creating some friction for one another. They're demanding action. And if I were to take that personally, it kind of matches where my life is. One reason why I'm taking advantage of an opportunity for silent retreat this weekend over this new moon is that it's time for me to let die some things that are ready to die and come out the other side of the new moon having given birth to something that I have been resisting. So when I see the square between Magdalena and Black Moon Lilith, I say, well, yeah, what else? And then I look right nearby, there's another square, the new moon, the moon and sun conjunct at 1411 Taurus, is in a square to Psyche in Aquarius. And Psyche is, her planet, she stands for the journey of initiation that women go through many times in our lives. And she starts out as a young love-struck woman who is rather hapless and teased and victimized and kind of pushed around by her friends and others, the gods and goddesses. And she goes through a process not unlike Vasilisa the Beautiful in the old Baba Yaga stories. She goes through a process where she has to do impossible tasks. She fails and succeeds in, one thing after another, but she faces failure and she makes big mistakes and she risks losing everything, does lose everything, and then she gets it all back. She matures through this sequence of stories, and she is being activated by this full moon. Excuse me, new moon. I'm always saying that. New moon. Yeah, that's pretty big. That's, I can so relate to that right now. This is an initiatory moment. And so the new moon chart is general. It's for everybody. So look and see, if you follow the news, look and see what events are happening that might relate to the divine feminine and feminine Christ consciousness grappling with something, having some friction, a disagreement, struggling to come into alignment. Also, and there's my fist, what's that mean? And then there's the new moon, the sun and the moon together, and Psyche, also square. There's tension. Something needs to shift and release all that energy. And I'm going to show you the picture, the way they cross right there. And this is not really significant astronomically or astrologically, but I'm curious. Oh, they are crossing at the degree, those two squares intersect at the degree of Chiron in Aries. If we look at this picture and this, the whole, whatever is showing up here as a sigil for something energetic, just kind of step back from astrological meanings, I find that incredibly significant. Chiron is halfway between these two, the moon, the sun, and Magdalena, and what is her name? Black Moon Lilith and Psyche. So it's kind of like he's holding the potential. Chiron is a healer, the mentor. He is a sign, he is a planet that denotes mastery, challenge, awakening, and there's a sternness there. He is holding the space for you to get your shit together. And he cannot fix it for you. He will not fix it for you. But he will just stand there and say, you've got this. You can see it. And when you see it, it'll be done. I keep snapping my fingers. Who saw Endgame? I can never snap my fingers quite the same way again without thinking, what did I just do? So that's really interesting. That's may have been the thing I was looking for. What is going to shift that energy? Chiron will. So meditate on Chiron in this new moon. There's another aspect that you will hear some people talking about. Eris, the goddess of discord, the goddess of, she stands for jealousy and envy and things, generally being pissed off, being left out. And isn't the feminine often women in society, women in patriarchy? A lot of times we feel like we need to fight and claw and scratch and make a ruckus because we are left out of the picture. The system is not designed for us and for our strengths and our power. It is, we have been designed, made in the image of the feminine that supports patriarchy, especially white women. But the fact is, patriarchy was not made for our power and for our truth. It suppresses our power and our truth, and that is the essence of what I teach. I'm working on it in Sacred Pleasure, Sovereign Womb now with some women who decided to step into that, who are wanting to discover where their power lives inside of them and begin to imagine the truth of themselves before patriarchy, outside of patriarchy. So, yeah, Eris, we can relate to her because she's saying, you did not invite me to the party, quite literally, in the myth, and I'm going to fuck you up. Do you think you're going to have a good time? Not when I'm done with you. And she is in a square to Chariklo, who is the consort, the wife of Chiron, who is conjunct Pluto, the planet of transformation, death, transformation, and ultimately rebirth. And I think she means business now. Eris's energy of chaos and discord creates, it engenders the space for death and rebirth. If she could take down the patriarchy single-handedly, she would. The fact is, we all have to do that together. Women, men, people of color, people of all backgrounds. We have to do that. I'm also beginning to teach about leadership. This is the me that is emerging, that I'm going to go into labor and rebirth her this weekend, this new moon. And that's what's being called for at this new moon. So I've just told you what's up for me. What's up for you? What are you clinging to that you cannot stand anymore? That is not working for you anymore? That you have been resisting letting go of because A, you're afraid of what you'll lose. B, you're afraid of what you'll gain. What will be asked of you, your next step. Eris is also in aspect to another planet, Jupiter. Jupiter over in Sagittarius. Jupiter is the expander, the one who makes it big. I won't say blows it up because it's not explosive. It's like putting it under the magnifier or the quantumizer that will make it giant. Golly, those superhero movies. So in the presence of Eris, what Eris has going on, use Jupiter. This is a flow. They're working together. So use Jupiter to envision the bigness, the greatness, the infinite possibility of what is wanting to be born. Yeah, that's what he stands for right here, right now, in this place with Eris. And that's a good reminder for me. And what else are we seeing here? We are seeing Vesta in Aries at 1437. She's not in a direct fancy aspect to the moon over in the next sign, the moon and sun, the new moon at 1411. However, she is reverberating with the 14 energy, and she is sextile. She is in a congruent flow with Psyche, and she's in a trine to the great attractor, that great, gigantic, feminine, amazing mystery that is somewhere out in the universe and that is pulling us towards it. Vesta is your inner devotion, your inner flame. And when I speak of Vesta, I always see her in the female, in the woman. She lives in our womb. The temple, the altar, the sacred fire. The devotion to our sexual fire, the erotic fire that is our motivator, our connector to the divine. And she is connected to Psyche, whom I just described, the one who is being initiated. And she is connected to the great attractor, that orgasmic entity that is pulling all of the galaxies in our neighborhood towards it. So you have this connection at this new moon between what is the deepest, personal, most sacred part of you and the vastness of spirit and the journey that we make as women, the initiate's journey. This is all happening right in this 14 resonance at the new moon. It is a call to be silent. Do not party. To find some alone time. Turn it off. Turn off social media. Turn off the people. Turn off the family. Turn off your mind. And go into your womb and listen. And if that feels like a mystery to you, reach out to me. I'll be around for another 12 hours before I disappear into my go within time. You may need to be doing that work right now. So reach out, send me a message, and I'll let you know how we can plug you into the work that's already begun, and there's room for you. I can't not invite you, seeing what is being called forth in this new moon. So I'm going to pause there. There's more that I can say, but I don't need to. I think the new moon has spoken. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.